because this was the basic Valkyrie design, they weren't exactly certain that Macross was even going to take off. Originally it was just going to be 26 episodes, and then when it became a hit it was extended to 36 episodes. So they weren't exactly, so when Takatoku Toys was said, hey, make this thing, well, they made just the basic Valkyrie design, regardless of the VF-1S or whatever. And so it wasn't until later on, when the series was extended, about halfway through the series was extended, that Takatoku Toys had to come up with the armored Valkyrie design, which was the really thick dark blue and red and white colored armor, which could attach this. This toy was not designed from the get-go. It was not designed to incorporate the armored accessories that were featured in the series and later the movie. But they still had to come up with a way to attach all of these accessory armor sections to a set that was not designed to readily accept those accessory sets. So Takatoku had to be very clever about this. Perhaps the biggest variation is on the backpack. In order to get the boosters onto the back, they had to build a clip from scratch. Well, from scratch I say. And then these two clips here and here. And what it does is it hooks underneath the blast shield that I was describing earlier. And then it clips around, I'll say, this front blast shield very carefully. And this allows for this hole here to fit into these clips on either side. And again, it's held in place strictly with friction. And notice that this add-on accessory, it's shaped just the same as the one underneath. The only difference is it was molded in blue. My thinking they should have molded it in white, but I'm about 25 years too late for that. You see the clip here and here, it just slips over one side and the other. Slips over one side and the other. As far as I know, and I looked into it as best as I could, there was no Strike Valkyrie there was no Strike Fast Pack designed for the Takatoku Toys. As far as I know, it was only a Super Valkyrie was designed. And really, the variation's really minor. Just, I mean, the front half of the right booster was modified. So these, the fuel and maneuvering thrusters, these actually came in two parts. Now, because I thought that I was all that when I was younger, it actually comes in two parts. And what you're supposed to do is you hook this clip here and this clip here, which is no longer here. You're supposed to hook it around the little flight stabilizer fin, and then you're supposed to hang on to it, and you slip this thing in here, and you can see why it is I didn't do this when I was younger, because I thought I was smarter. And so that would just hold in there with friction. And this part is actually here, but this blue clip is not there in the animation. So you can see this clip here and this clip here are missing. I will show you on the other side. The clips are missing altogether, both sides, because this is how I did it. I would hook it around the back, and it would just fit in there like that. And so now you have the so-called Super Valkyrie, which is basically the VF-1S with the fast pack attached to it. Posability is exactly the same with the Super Valkyrie. The only difference is, in order to prevent the joint for the backpack unit is not nearly strong enough to keep the fast pack's boosters from just flipping down all by itself. So you can see in there is a blue sliver of ABS plastic in there, which pushes this clip on against the wings. and that prevents the booster from falling off. What happens if the wings are open? Well, if the wings are open, again, the clip here has nothing to hang on to, so what happens is it just falls down. So unfortunately, the one pose you cannot recreate is the Super Valkyrie with the wings open. But that's okay, because the only reason that the wings were open in the series and the movies is so that the additional missile pods could be hung on there, but they're not, so that's the only variation. And now I'll reverse the transformation using the super fast pack. Pull this off, and this can go bye-bye. Yes, that decal, the skull and crossbones are a trademark. Let's see, what am I doing here? Of VF-1S. In this case, you do have to open it up in order to get this open. So you can push this down so that it'll actually slip through. And you'll notice, as I flip it up and over, like I said, that's age talking. The booster pulls up. Now, I didn't really elaborate on it. Golly. Wait. It's an old toy, folks, an old toy. I didn't really elaborate on it earlier, but this actually slides up, which is how it happens in the series as well. You see, this is why I don't cover Transformers on YouTube. And again, I have to be careful. I'll elaborate a little more here. This is locked in place so it isn't moving. This is slipped over the edge, like so. Squeaky, squeaky. It's a big clunky toy. I love it. Here's the VF-1S Super Valkyrie in Gearwalk mode. I'm not even going to bother showing you the gun pod and how it attaches to the right hand. The only maybe complaint that I ever had was that you have to remove the missile launchers. By the way, these look like cannons. They're actually supposed to be additional missiles in here. So you had to remove the missile launchers in order to extend the hands. Putting them back in is no problem. You can just leave the clip on there. You can leave the missile launcher on there, but you actually had to take it off. I'm taking it off just so I can show you. There we go. It's an old toy, folks. It's an old toy. Like I said, it had many battles. And here's a little variation I didn't show you without the super armor. Is that, you know, it was also... This is more fighter mode with VTOL capability, more than it is Gearwalk mode, but, you know, whatever. One variation that's done, and this happens in the series and movie as well, is that when it's without the armor, the legs go straight, the engines go straight, but when it's got this, it's got the booster armor pack on it, you actually tilt it downwards at an angle slightly. I'll show you again over here. Tilts at an angle, and you put this up. Pull this out, pull this out. Now, for those of you who don't have fingernails, like me, I just use the Gatling cannon to pull that out. Ooh, I lost the screw a couple years ago, which really sucked. And then you can see here the Super Valkyrie in fighter mode. Squeaky squeak. Can rest just fine on its landing gear. In my opinion, this is an ultra cool space fighter. A lot of you probably know this magazine. Came out a long time ago. This particular issue came out in 1990. And I kid you not, it's completely intact. This is where I learned about the 155 scale Valkyrie. This is, I begged my parents to get this thing, and you can see the $66 price, plus shipping and handling. This is where I learned about it, so I mean, I can just imagine some Macross YouTuber out there with his jaw on the floor saying, "Oh my god, he's still got that magazine?" That's actually my dad's, but that's where I learned about this toy, and I thought that was just the most awesome thing you could ever see. You know what? I was absolutely right. I was thrilled. And to this, ladies and gentlemen, to this day, this remains one of my favorite pieces. Unquestionably. The standard was set pretty high in the early 1980s and into 2009. Ironically, the Macross launched from South Otaria Island in January 2009. This video was made January 2009. This remains the standard for the Valkyrie toy. This is a toy. This is not a collector's item. This is a TOY, toy. And of all the models and collector's toys, or whatever you want to call it, this one stands out. There is little or nothing wrong with it. This was designed to be played around with toys. Yamato's taken its shots. I don't know all the companies that have attempted to recreate the VF-1 series of Valkyries, but Bandai or Imai or whatever it is, I don't know the companies, okay, but needless to say, this thing has been done to death. In 25 years, to me, this remains one of the most perfect physical representations of a Valkyrie that's fully transformable and has all the right accessories. The only thing that was lacking was like missiles under there, but honestly I don't see how they could have done it. There are, you know, there actually are little like pinpricks under there that show you where the hard points would have been, but otherwise this is a wonderful toy. I mean, I've had it for, like I said, I've had it almost 15 years now, and it hasn't let me down. If it's let me down in any way, it's because I was negligent, or because I was careless, or because I just love this thing to death. This is definitely a trip down memory lane in order to show all of you on YouTube and CDX this. I would recommend getting it, but I'm about 25 years too late in recommending it. There is, however, a Bandai in 2006 re-released several 155 scale high metal Valkyries, the VF-1J, two versions of the VF-1A for the movie version, Macross Do You Remember Love, and the VF-1S, here, the same one. There's some slight changes in paint, like they painted up the knee joints, they've painted on some stripes, and they've given us some different decals. But it's nice to see that they were able to come up with those molds again and to deliver this toy to us once more. So, you know, if you want to try and find them that way, have at, because those are... This is a collector's item because of its age. Those are collector's items. The 2006 re-releases are pretty incredible. I think it's called Revival of Valkyrie or something like that. Those 4 sets. So get those, because once they're gone, you'll probably have to wait another 25 years to get them. Or you can, you know, spend 500 and something or other on this. So, this is Ava Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.
マクロの空を貫いて地球を打った雷は我ら幼い人類に目覚めてくれと放たれたマクロスマクロス惜しく立った若者は愛 する人をかばいつつ旅立つ日々を戦い開く Will love me tomorrow 闇を切り裂き飛びゆく先は遠く輝く青い星